Pat. Tonight you guys got to within 10, and a few times late there, it seemed like whether it was a turnover or just couldn't get a bucket, they were able to get that bucket. I don't know, what were they doing kind of defensively there that kind of prevented you guys from sustaining momentum, getting over that hump?
I think it's one of those things where it's just got to be a little bit more. You know what I mean? We got to have a little bit more of a chip on our shoulder. We got to be a little bit more mentally tough when they go on runs. We got to be a little bit more sharp when it comes to executing coaches' plays. We got to be a little bit more aggressive when it comes to rotating on defense. Just a little bit more things that we've done over the last 2 years that we just weren't able to do tonight.
I can't recall which time it was when we spoke to you about the change of defense, about some switching, and you had mentioned, hey, we've been so good at what we've done for a couple of years. At this point, do you guys feel, I don't know if it's lost, if it's the thing you can lean on, I guess, defensively to get stops and create turnovers and then create offense? I don't know, where do you feel you guys are at in trying these new things on the defensive side of the ball?
I think defense wasn't our problem tonight. It's been our problem the last few games, but it wasn't our problem tonight. I think we took a step in the right direction defensively tonight. We were scrambling. We were all over the place. We were utilizing switching once in a while. We were, in our normal coverage that we've banked on the last 2 years. So I think that was one positive we can take from tonight, but you got to keep doing it. And I think that's where we've been so great the last few years is when we lost a game, whether it was defense or offense, we came back stronger. And then when we won a game, we came back stronger. And I think that's the adversity and that's the response we need to have as a unit. We got to stay together. We got to do it together. Not one guy can pull us out of a losing streak like this. It's got to be a collective effort. It's got to be something that, guys pick each other up, whether it's when they fall on the ground during the game or whether it's when we make a big shot and you see the bench, running around crazy. Obviously, it's a little different now with COVID, but in the setup. But it's just got to be collective, and it's got to be that juice, that chip on the shoulder that we've had the last 2 years.
Steve McGarkey.
You talked about getting that chip on their shoulder. How do you get that? I mean, how do you kind of get that that you had the last couple of years that kind of missing these last few games?
It's a response, like competitive. It's, getting to a point where you just don't accept the results that we've been putting forth over the last, 5-6 games. I think it's growing as a team, as an individual, as an organization. It's, you got to remember, in my opinion, we've had a great last 2 years, but those last 2 years aren't this year. You know what I mean? And we got to make sure that this year it's a new team. We got a new group of guys. We got a few new, tricks up our sleeve that we're trying to implement, both defensive and offensively. It's a process, but the response and the energy, the effort, the chip on the shoulder, we got to make sure we have that every single night. And I think that's something that we took a step in the right direction tonight. And as far as a response, I think it took us a few too many games to have that response, but it's something that we can build upon, and we truly intend on building upon tomorrow.
Dora?
Lately, Coach has been using you late in games down the stretch, down, and clearly the team needs a bump up. What do you feel like your role is in those moments?
My role is to go out there and play hard and compete on both ends of the ball, night in and night out, no matter what point of the game I'm in. And I think it's continuing to, be aggressive and, find ways to positively affect the game and play well. At the end of the day, the energy, the effort, the toughness, the things that I can control, I need to make sure are at, 100% night in and night out. The amount of shots I get, I can't always control, and I don't care to control. For me, I want to make sure I continue to make winning plays, continue to try to put my team and our team in a position to win games down the stretch. And, I'm glad, Coach has seen that as something he can utilize. But, we gotta win a few more games, and I take it personally when we don't.
Have you ever played with somebody that has as much energy as Thanasis, and how in the world does he keep that up?
I don't think I have. You know, I mean, I'd like to say I do, to be honest, but even that, you know, I have energy and I don't talk 1,000 miles an hour. He has energy and he talks and it's incredible. It's like the Energizer Bunny, but you know, he's great. And that's the type of juice we need. You know what I mean? Like that's the type of juice that we've had for the last 2 years. And there's plenty of excuses you can have, like I said, as far as the bench setup and things like that. You can't see us going nuts on the bench as much, but excuses don't do anything. Everyone's dealing with it. It's all relative, and it's on us to follow that. You know, Thanasis came in tonight, and he had as much energy as I've seen, you know, a guy have, and it brought a spark to us. And those are the things that we need, all of us. You know, it's starters, bench, coaches, organization. Like that energy, those are things we can control, and I'm proud of him. I think it's something that he can bring to the table each and every day.
All right, we'll wrap up with Eric Name.
On Tuesday, you guys saw Chris struggle with that double team. And, you know, we talked to Bud, and he was like, you know, we got to put guys in better spots. We got to handle it better. And you didn't really handle it better. Like, Chris had 5 first-half turnovers, pretty much all in that situation. Why do you think it wasn't better tonight in that regard, just handling that double team and that constant pressure they're kind of throwing at him?
You know, I think it's random. It's not predictable. I think they do a great job. You got to give credit where credit's due. They do a really good job of bringing it from different places at different times. And, you know, it's something that I think it's as a team, you know, other players have to, you know, step up to help him. You know, when he's getting doubled, someone's got to flash to the ball. And when someone flashes to the ball and they scramble, like somebody else has to flash to the ball in a different area. And I think, you know, I would say a defense that we haven't seen all that often on Chris. You see it more on Giannis. You see them build the wall on Giannis. So I think there is, you know, a learning curve to it. We would have liked to implement it better tonight and come out with a win. But it's something that I think is good for us to see right now. Because in the playoffs, teams are going to throw different things at us. And, I mean, at the end of the day, we all have to step up and do our part, because if they're doubling Chris, it's because they don't think the other guys can beat him. And we got to take that personally. We got to have, again, a chip on our shoulder and be like, well, you're doubling Chris because you don't think the other 4 guys on the court can beat you 4-on-3. And that's something that we should really, you know, it should hit us right here.
I guess defensively, Bud's talked about the problem is you're not keeping guys in front. What can you guys do better in that regard to stop all of the dribble penetration that's been happening?
It's that pride, it's that chip, it's that mano el mano. You're not going to beat me. I'm going to be physical. Even if you're faster than me, I'm going to be smarter. I'm going to be a little more physical. I'm going to try to, you know, do things to slow you down. And you know, I think even in the last few years when we've been at our best, we haven't been beaten off the dribble this much. But we have been beaten off the dribble, and it's been the recovery. It's been the help side defense. It's been the Brook blocks, the Giannis blocks, the Brook coming over, them kicking, us scrambling. And I think we did a better job of that tonight. We did scramble. Our offense didn't help us on the other end, but we did scramble, and it's something, and the reason I said we can build off of is because that looked more like us, in my opinion. That's something that, look, I think we kept them out of the lane a little bit better. But they're NBA players, so you're not always going to keep them out of the lane. And there's pick and rolls, and there's things that literally put you at a disadvantage as a defender because offense is the game. And so for us, it's about that second and third and fourth efforts, and that's where I think we need to continue to grow and build off of, because that's what made us such a great defensive team over the last few years. It wasn't just the fact that we were keeping guys out of the lane better.
Thanks, man.